you going to come out of this debt? The idea of going to work, wake up, repeat for 30 years. Yeah, you're I feel like an angry guy. Is it possible to be mortgage, home loan, debt-free within a 10-year period? G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Australian Property Investment Podcast. I'm absolutely pumped. This episode, Niro, I've got to tell you, I'm super excited. Listeners, I've got Niro Thambipillay, Investment Rise.
Correct.
Is the name of your business. Now, you would know, mate, you've said you checked out a few episodes. We have a lot of BAs that come on, but this conversation is going to be deliberately different. And if you're listening, I'll tell you why. If you have a home loan, owner-occupied mortgage, I want to ask you a question. How on earth are you going to pay that loan off? You're nodding. I love it. Because that's a question that Bernadette and I consistently ask ourselves all the time, which is, hey, we've got ourselves the home, for example, comes with a mortgage. We'll do some work on the property, increase the loan. At what point do we become debt-free or actively work towards it? And it's a question that I'd probably say, and this is, again, I never sling mud, but it's a question that probably 99% of mortgage brokers do not ask their clients when they're giving them this giant loan going, but how are you going to come out of this debt?
Correct.
The idea of going to work, wake up, repeat for 30 years. Yeah, you're already starting to get this. The vein on the side of my head starts blowing up. I feel like an angry guy because I can't understand that notion that it's like, go to work for 30 years or sell your home, downsize, and then you just kind of get left over with, you know, because the home's no capital gains on it. Listeners, I'm telling you, there has to be a better way. And there's the reason why I just keep showing up on these episodes, because when they say you want to find the answers and you start to like attract all the energy around that, that's my question to the universe, which is I want my mortgage paid off as quickly as possible. Now, there's two paths you can go down, Niro, and we'll discuss this, which is become an absolute fiend and every single dollar put into your loan and try and pay that bad boy off as quickly as possible. That's
have no lifestyle,
Or option B, it's take debt on to get rid of debt.
Yes.
Which, mate, it's like when my kids watch Lightning McQueen. It's like, you got to go left to go right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it doesn't make sense until you get it. So this is a conversation we're going to have today. But mate, I want to kick off with you now. Investment Rise, name of your business. Man, I've been following your stuff and I'm going to hijack you this because you didn't know. The reason I saw you is because you are a dead ringer for my older brother. I'm going to find a picture of him. I'm telling you. The first time I asked my brother, what are you doing on YouTube? And you know, so it came up in our family WhatsApp and I was like, and I followed you. I checked out some of your stuff. Man, I'm genuinely love what you're doing.
Thank you.
So I think you got a fantastic message in this space. It's refreshing.
Yes.
As well, because I think who you are, the audio matches the video from our chats.
Great.
And I think, mate, you just go about your business, stay in your lane. Yep. You know, not try to ruffle feathers. I mentioned your dad to two boys, and that's the thing that kind of lights you up. And I'm like, man, this is someone I want to have a chat to. So, Niro, welcome on, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me, I'm really I'm excited to be here. That intro was amazing, you know.
Mate, we are just getting started, mate. Matt, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
When someone says to you, is it possible to be debt-free, i.e. mortgage, home loan debt-free within a 10-year period?
Yeah.
What do you say?
The short answer is yes, but it is getting harder, right? Why do I say it's getting harder? House prices are rising. People are actually taking on more debt than ever before,
more home loan debt.
Yeah, more home loan debt. So it's getting harder. But is it possible? It absolutely is. But the pathway is going to be very counterintuitive, and it's really going to mess with a lot of the messaging a lot of us received growing up. Primarily, what was that? Debt is bad. Don't take on more debt, pay it off. And so when I go and tell people the fastest way to pay off your mortgage is to actually take on more debt, it just freaks them out. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Right? And you can see why.
Messes with your head.
Exactly.
Messes with your head. It does, and anyone listening to this, past episodes, I get on my soapbox. I'm like, well, tell me about taking on more debt, because generally you go and get a new car when you buy one. I worked inside CBA. The cross-sell within the first 6 months of someone buying a brand new place, they would just berate them because they knew they'd go and buy a brand new car within the first 6 months of buying a brand new place. And we see it time and time again. So the idea that you're going to take on more debt, well, I mean, you're taking on more debt for a depreciating liability, not an income producing asset. So for the notion that you're going to take on more debt, well, you're going to buy a brand new car. So let's just put that on the table. It's going to cost you well over $900 a month. Let's put that on the table. So don't tell us if you're coming into this episode and saying, I don't have cash flow left over to invest. Give me your bank statements. Let's be prepared to have a hard conversation about, I actually do think there's money left over. Yeah. So if your first objection is, I don't have money left over to invest, I hear you, but I don't believe you.
I love what you say here, Aaron, because it is true. People often take on debt or spend stuff and then try to invest as what's left, right? You've almost got to flip the dial. So yes, you got to pay off your home mortgage, of course, but the very next goal should be, how do you invest, right? What can you do to start building assets? And for some people, it's not going to be immediately. Some people, it might be a 2-year plan, but whatever it is, but you need to have that goal, because for almost every single person who I've helped buy an investment property who's got equity on their home, you know, the biggest regret they've had, they didn't do it earlier.
Thank you.
The biggest regret.
Thank you. You tell that to someone that's starting out and go, your only regret is that you wish you should have bought 2 of them.
Yep.
And they're like, you're crazy, man. I was like, come back to me in 2-3 years time and we'll have this conversation. And it's not for me to be, hey, I'm more righter than you. It's just to go, mate, I've done this for a bit of time.
Yeah.
And so if you're sitting there and you're like, man, these 2 guys have like something to sell. I got debt to sell and you got investment properties to sell, and you got a BA clip. I'm going to put this on the table. This podcast has never been about monetizing. There's no courses. There's you haven't paid to be on here.
Nope.
You've literally just shown up today, because George has organized us to be here. There's no sales agenda.
Nah.
Yeah.
None.
And so people go, man, what are you doing this for? I'm doing this because I don't want to be working.
Yeah.
Because I have to after 5 years.
Yep.
Bernie and I have pretty much, and we've got to make it so public.
Yes.
That we get held to a standard.
Yeah.
We want to be mortgage free somewhere in the next 5 to 6 years.
Perfect.
And to do that, we've got to make some big decisions.
Yes.
Now, like our kids are 7 and 5, and we're like, we've come out of that really hard phase. I talk about seasons in life,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Where we've come out of this hard phase of like childcare, being in and out of the business. Hey man, there's enough going on with like sleepless nights and trying to, get our own stuff together rather than kind of focus on the portfolio with our own home. To now you come up for air and we're in this real sweet spot. I feel, man, where like the kids are at school.
Nice.
And I feel like you're going to a new level of sweet spot, which is, hey man, you got 1 child in high school.
Correct.
So you probably have private school fee or school fees, whatever to deal with, right? And there's going to be rising costs as your kids get a little bit older. So take me through seasons and like your experience in you've gone through the different life seasons. You said you're invested.
Yes. Yes. So for my journey was really, so as someone who's a buyer's agent, while I say I love property, I'm not someone who's going to tell you that's a beautiful house. That's a beautiful house. I really couldn't care less. What I love is what property can do for you. Right. And so what I mean by that is if you do this right, you can create wealth very safely and definitely get ahead of where you think you could be. So for me, my journey started by rent investing. First of all, I rented. I couldn't afford a house in Sydney at the time. And a lot of people said, hey, go and buy a 2-bedroom unit, high-rise unit, somewhere in Western Sydney. And I have an economics background. And I was like, that makes no sense. Because if I want to buy property and I want to build wealth, I want it to rise in value. Now, fundamental economics will tell you that something only rises in value if there's more demand than supply. Now, if you're buying units in high rises, they can increase supply in most areas, especially back then. It was very, very easy. So I decided I'm going to go do something very, very different. I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder, I will admit, and I went and bought my first property all the way over in WA. Right? Most people thought I'd lost my marbles. To their surprise, and probably slightly to mine, my property doubled in value in 18 months. Wow. Right? And that kind of lit a fire in me and went, hold on, it's not just my ego talking here. There is something to the basics of demand and supply when applied to property, right? And that set me on a journey where I bought multiple properties. I wish I could tell you my journey was golden. It's not. I've made probably more mistakes than maybe any other guest you're going to have on this show or any other investor you speak to. And I'm very open about that because if I can help people avoid some of the mistakes I made, and look, I started young. That was my big advantage. I started at the age of 22. Most people are not starting until their 40s. You don't have time to potentially get this wrong and recover, right? So therefore, I made a lot of mistakes, but eventually, you do something often enough, you learn it. I started getting some great results through property, and then people said, hey, why don't you help us? And I thought, yeah, I'll do that. And meanwhile, I met my wife and we started continuing rent investing path. But at some point she went, I want my own place, right? And for any married man, you'll know that when your wife says, I don't want to rent, I want my own home. Guess who's making the decisions? Let's be clear here. Guess who's making the decisions, 100%. Right? So she decided. So yeah, we bought our own house and then kept investing and building our wealth. And now we've got our dream house as well. So we've upgraded that, and now it's applying the same strategies to get rid of that debt as soon as possible. Right. Mm-hmm. So it really is about sort of having a plan, understanding. Yeah, look, for example, when we had childcare fees and late nights, I wasn't trying to invest in property for myself. It just didn't make sense, right? I barely had enough bandwidth to handle family commitments and work, right? But once those family commitments got a bit more manageable, namely the kids a little bit older, I went back to how do I keep building wealth? Because I'm lucky enough, like similar to yourself, Aaron, I love what I do, but I don't want to have to do it for X number of years just to pay off a debt.
Spot on.
Right? If I do it for the next 30 years, fantastic. I'm doing it because I love it. I'm doing it because I'm making a difference, because I'm helping people, not because I have to, because the bank and whoever else tells me I need to. Right? So if people can sort of understand that, if you have the bandwidth, hopefully if you're listening to this, you have the bandwidth to start exploring different avenues to build wealth, and it's just going to help you so much down the track. Because I'll tell you again, just ask yourself, if you're listening to this, would you be in a better financial position if you bought just one investment property 5 years ago? It's a simple question to ask, right? When you start asking that question, you kind of go, yeah. But the question, if you don't do something now and you can afford to, where are you going to be another 5 years' time? And 5 years goes past pretty quickly.
It does.
Right? If anything goes by faster, the longer you seem to live. It's like an accelerating, thing. So that's why I say to everyone, yes, your season. Look, some people, for example, I've got clients who kids are through high school paying massive private school fees, investing in property. They've decided that they can't do that at the moment because all their cash flow is being eaten up. But I tell you, that last kid finishes year 12, I get a call. We are done. Now, we maybe paid off our own home or we've done something, but we now only have 10 years. We need to do something. Right? And so many people come to me with a 10-year time frame. Yeah, we can help them. If they came to me earlier, it's ultimately the game of property investing is yes, strategy. Yes, you need to know your numbers, but it's time in the market, right? Too many people are out there saying, I'm going to double my money in 12 months, 24 months, or whatever else. You need to be for the longer game. You need to have time in the market.
Nicely said, dude. You said you made heaps of mistakes. What do they look like?
Oh, mate. So some of the mistakes I've made, what worries me is I see people making them today. So one of the common ones, investing in an investor hotspot, right? So I see so many people buying in area X or area Y because it's popular online. So many people, are pushing a certain area. The problem with that is then it flips very quickly, right? Because then the mood changes and everyone who's talking about this area goes somewhere else. And you're left buying an area where mainly other investors have bought. There's no real owner-occupier demand. You're going to be competing for tenants because there's so many investors who've bought. You struggle to get your property rented. And then when investors go, oh, the yields don't add up anymore and I'm going to sell, guess what happens to your property? It goes back down. Okay. We saw this in the post-mining boom in Perth when a lot of people got burnt. I can tell you we're going to see it again. Right. So for me, that was a big mistake.
Where are we going to see it again?
I think you're going to see it in certain pockets of the west of Melbourne for sure. Right. I've seen too many investors buy there.
Like where are we talking about?
We're talking about a place like Melton, for example. Okay. Right. Which is just, there are so many investors who are buying there. And yet I get people going, hey, so-and-so told me to buy it there. It took me 8 weeks, 10 weeks to get a tenant. I mean, and some of these guys are trying to pay off their debt fast. And they're like, but now we can't because we got our mortgage. But we're also struggling to...
You're carrying two mortgages.
You're carrying two mortgages. Yeah. Exactly. So that's the problem. I think Darwin will be another market, right? I know it's very hot. There's no way we'll buy there because I don't see the fundamentals. So that's just one of many. But one of the big ones.
I love it. And this is, when I speak, I can almost hear what people's thoughts are because I'm having these conversations daily, right? Yeah. Going, but Niro, tell me more, right?
Yeah.
The next part is, I'm telling you, we don't have money left over, or we've used all our borrowing capacity to get to our owner rock.
Yep.
Therefore, there's not much serviceability to now go into an investment property. How do we navigate that?
Yep. Number one, get yourself a good broker. because that answer is probably coming from the bank you've got your home loan with, right? And this is, more your expertise, but certainly when I'm telling people, it's like, get a second look. Just like, when you go to the doctor, you don't like what they say, you get a second opinion. How many of you get a second opinion on your current financial status? Most people don't. They'll tell me, my broker 5 years ago said that and I didn't do anything. I'm like, but did you know you could have done X, Y, and Z?
Right? The broker's a good mate or
a good person. Exactly, right?
I hear it every day.
You need to if you're not getting the answers you want, okay, that may be true, but you need it verified, right?
Well, just, hey, show me the numbers.
Correct.
And we can do that sometimes. Sometimes some people are genuinely stuck.
Yep, absolutely.
All this change in circumstance has meant, hey, you might be on the sidelines. And where I might pull an example is someone's just left their salaried role and they've gone fully self-employed. I'm like, the ABN is probably new. We can still do one-day ABN. There's no qualms with that. You're just limited in the lender choices and options. Correct. Okay, great. That's you're stuck in this little season.
Yep.
It might take you 6 months to get around that. But you know what you could do is you could work on a plan in that 6 months to get going. Don't come back in 6 months' time. Correct. And I think where you and I will vibe is going, it's not like don't wait to then start this. Have balls juggling in the air, have plates spinning in the air. And I think sometimes is the advantage that you and I will have is as business owners or high-performing individuals that listen, they're used to juggling multiple plates. Whereas the people that don't are the ones that they put their hands in the air going, I don't know, the bank said I can't borrow anymore. Now I'm like, poor me.
Yep.
I'm like, to your point, man, it's like, why would you take no for an answer?
Correct.
And I will pound this into listeners' heads every time I go,
absolutely,
do not take no for an answer. I'm sorry. That's if one person's saying it's one and done, man, just ask questions. Or the other option is go and buy your own rock.
Yeah.
And if it's the right strategy, go and buy through a self-managed super fund.
Yeah.
And bang, bang, you've got got the best of both worlds.
You can always, I think super is such an underutilized tool in this country when it comes to investing in property, because the people who use it most, I find, are people who already have investment properties.
Spot on.
They've seen, and now they want an extra one. Whereas the person, like you said, who's got their mortgage, and maybe they can't do it in their personal name, but they let that super sit there, right?
Well, I'll tell you what happens, Niro, is they haven't bought an investment property before.
Yep.
So then to go and raid the coffers out of super, I haven't bought an investment property and now I'm going to take super, high risk on high risk. And so straight away their monkey brain is going, red flag, or like one partner is then going, hey man, we're not pulling our super, that's for our retirement.
Yep.
And we're saying, what's the point of waiting for retirement when you can be debt free in
Correct.
10 years time? Like, if
you
can kind of connect the dots in this conversation, you're going, all right, I can start to see how this is kind of forming together, because these are concepts that you and I are very comfortable and familiar with day to day.
Yep.
And I think that's where we probably have to have a little bit of empathy going.
Yes.
Someone listening is going, hey mate, you're coming out with a bucket load of information. I don't even know where my super is, let alone the balance. And I'm like, okay, great. You crawl before you walk, mate. You put your nappies on, but you start to learn, watch some YouTubes, and find some good source of truth. And you got some cracker videos there as well. Like, there are ways to upskill and educate yourself.
Absolutely.
To then be able to pull the trigger with confidence.
Correct. And it is exactly what you said. Sometimes it's a plan, right? And most people who may not be able, if they cannot buy a property today, will make no plans to buy a property in 3 years' time, right? They'll say, we're done. And then it'll be 10 years before they revisit it. Yeah. That's the problem, right? If I can share a quick story, one of our clients wanted to buy a second property. Their bank said no. And he called me and said, no, I can't do it. I said, who'd you go to? And they told me. I said, just have a second opinion. Second opinion came back with the borrowing capacity. Their bank said 200 grand. The second opinion was 600 grand.
Right.
Enough to buy another property that's now gone up 50%. So it's not the property, it's the fact that he would have missed, what's 50%, 600 grand? $300,000 he would have missed out on if he'd accepted that first opinion saying, no, you can't.
And then what happens is, to that example, we'll work heaps of BAs and same thing, the conversation will happen. These guys are stuck. Have a look at it, getting their own stuff. Sometimes the team are going, maybe you actually got the ability to go and buy 2 investment properties that you've revalued the owner rock. There's way more equity to pull out. The bank hasn't factored in a bonus, or they've got a side hustle here, or where it's going to be, and the way they've assessed the rental income and everything. You go and buy 2 properties and they look at us like we're snake oil salespeople. Like, What dodgy lender are you pulling us? I've never heard of this. I've never heard of a Brighton or whoever it's going to be.
Yeah.
They've got to be bad news. I've never heard of them. Like, dude, they are willing to lend you money. The risk is on them. We've done the numbers.
Exactly.
Mate, I've got a credit license. I've got kids to feed. I've got team to feed. I'm not risking this.
Exactly.
And it's even then it's like, no, this sounds too good to be true. It can't be true. And people will go through this mental challenge and this rhetoric as well.
Absolutely. And I get that all the time. And it's like, I can see where you could do 4 or 5 pros. Like 4 or 5, what? And I said, but look, hold on. And you can see me. I say, start with 1.
Yes.
Let's do 6 months. And after 6 months, let's talk. You know what happens after 6 months? They'll say, okay, we want to do another 2. Boom.
You actually create a beast. I tell that to them all the time. Like, you're going to start with 1.
Yeah.
And then in 6 months' time, maybe even might not take that long.
Yeah,
but we talk about the next one, like, you're crazy. This is crazy. I was like, I'm telling you, we turn people into beasts.
Yep.
And then you're knocking on my door to get these properties revalued. Sometimes we got to be careful what we wish for as well.
Yes.
But I'm like, mission accomplished, because now we've created an ambitious investor that again can change the game through building a property portfolio that will create intergenerational wealth.
That's it. Intergenerational wealth. That's the only way you're going to, from a personal perspective, housing crisis, not enough properties, prices rising. If we can, and if we can help others create intergenerational wealth, we're not just helping them, we're helping them help their kids. Right? That to me lights me up like you wouldn't believe. Let
me tell you, and your Sri Lankan background as well. So you probably would have been cut from the same cloth, which was come to this country. Our parents came. When did you guys come to Australia?
I was 87. So yeah.
Very similar.
Okay.
Very similar. I think a couple of years before you. And it was like, study hard, go get a degree, work exceptionally hard. Probably I landed in the bank. I don't know where you ended up out of uni. And by working hard, man, you can create a life of your dreams.
Yes.
And it was true to a certain extent.
Yes.
But then I realized there was people that are passing me by.
Yes.
That were buying property.
Yep.
I'm like, no offense, I'm probably smarter than this dude.
Yep.
I'm probably earning more than this guy.
Yep.
Or girl.
Yep.
And they've gone and bought a couple of properties and now they're beating me. And it's like, this is a mugs game.
Yes.
And that's, if you're listening and you're what I call our Henrys, look at our Henrys, high earners, not rich yet.
Yeah.
They're earning 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800K. Oh. And they got nothing to show for it, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for it.
Nothing. I agree. It is
I'm
the
like, you've got
thing.
degrees, you've got MBAs, post-grad, you're traveling the countries, Qantas clubs and everything else.
Yeah.
And you got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And there's people that earn way less that actually, once they liquidate their portfolio, they're worth more.
Absolutely.
And it's a tragedy, man. It is a tragedy. And that's the stuff that, again, just gets me fired up. When I'm like, it's that competitive spirit in me, or it's that migrant mentality to go, did you know if you could buy a few properties, you could literally just skate past people that are working their absolute guts out? Yeah. That's how unfair the property game is. It is.
It is an unfair game.
It is.
But it's still a game that we can all, if you can get in and you choose not to, you're then stacking the disadvantages against yourself, right? So it is an unfair game, but the rules are the same for everybody, you know? And so whatever the government does, whatever
it's a level playing field though for everyone?
It is if you are at a level where you can afford to. Now, the scary part about the property market is that, like, once you start looking at property at the lower end of town, there's just nothing around, right? Prices have got to a level whereby there is a minimum entry level, right? The thing is, though, the message I want to convey to the listeners is, if you qualify for that entry level today and you do nothing, in 5 years' time, you may have found that the entry level has gone above you and you're no longer able to afford a property.
Niro, you're saying 5 years. Let me challenge you a little bit on this, because I'd probably started 2025. We're doing heaps of investor stuff. And mate, most of the BAs were like, hey man, get me a pre-approval at 450 purchase price.
Yes.
I was like, cool, easy.
Yeah.
By the end of 2025, they do not give us a pre-approval unless it's minimum 600, 650.
Yep.
Because we can't buy in markets of quality substance value for sub 650.
Yep.
And within the year, I had literally watched the base got nearly $200,000.
Yeah.
And it continues to grow because people are saying, probably the buyers agents that are going, hey, look, we're not even buying blue chip stock. We're buying fairly entry level, affordable stock. And it's now pushing 650, 700 in a lot of locations as well. So automatically that knocks out a lot of people that cannot qualify to borrow that level either.
Absolutely. You're totally correct. I mean, you're right. The entry level is going past people faster than they realize, right? It always comes back to my earlier comment. The biggest regret people have is that either they didn't buy a property earlier on, or they didn't know they could buy a property a year ago, 2 years ago. I mean, you're right. Some people who bought a property a year ago have made over 150 grand equity on one property, right?
And I tell them that's more than your annual income for some people.
Absolutely.
You've done nothing but go to your day job after tax, and they're worried about tax. We'll open that Pandora's box in a second. They're worried about tax and the capital gains tax, everything that's going on with the government at the moment. I'm like, bro, on your income, you're taxed.
Correct.
And you can't argue about it.
Yep.
So the property is going to be taxed regardless of your gain that you make. So don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Just make more money.
That's it. Absolutely. One of my key things is do not ever invest for tax purposes. That might be what your accountant says or whatever else. Invest to build wealth. The tax, if they come, it's cream on top. And when you take that approach, you don't worry what on earth the government is doing, right? Who's in power, because you're investing purely for wealth creation, which is understanding the fundamentals and the economics of what's going on in this country, and then buying the right properties. That's what you want, both for capital growth and also the key thing, rental growth as well.
Okay. Let's play this conversation out. You said you got a significant other, the whole rent investing. This is a typical conversation.
Okay.
We're done with rent investing. We've got kids, small kids. We don't want to be bouncing around. We can't even get rentals in our area, for example. We want the stability, security. So rent investing kind of has its phase.
Yes.
It's a sort of season in your life, sort of phase.
Yep.
For example, so we moved to the stage we've got owner rock. Now we've got a large debt we're lugging around, for example. Maybe we've sold out some investment properties to get the deposit to then go into our owner rock.
Yes.
Okay. The question then needs to be had is, hey, do we have, and the question primarily from the broker and the conversation to open is, do we want to keep investing in property? Generally, it's like, no, we've borrowed up to the eyeballs. We've got nothing left over. Well, that's not true, because when the bank stress tests, you actually do have money left over. So I've got to call that out as well.
Yep.
But then the conversation as a couple is, well, I just want to pay off my mortgage as quickly as possible. I don't want to take any extra debt. We'll wait till our home's paid off to then go and invest. Shoot that theory down for me, please.
So, okay, here's the thing. If you have any surplus cash flow, we were speaking about how you can find surplus cash flows. Let's assume you do. If you're not taking that surplus cash flow and using it to buy investment properties, do you realize what you're missing out on? Let's just do a simple example. It's if you have an extra, say, $2,000 a month. I'm just going to make up these crazy numbers. If it's $1,000 a month, it's changed. But let's work with $2,000 a month, okay? Pay off $1 million mortgage. $2,000 extra a month, you pay it off in 18 years versus 30 years. People think that's great. Okay, yes, you paid off your mortgage 12 years earlier. You probably saved about $500,000 in interest. Yes. What are properties worth in 18 years' time? Right? Probably three times of that.
You've gone probably 2 cycles.
Exactly, right? So therefore, instead of buying something for, today's dollars, $700,000, you're paying $1.5 to $2 million. Are you telling me that instead of that, if you'd had bought just one other property, just buy one, right? Don't do anything else. Take it very slow. Buy one property, let it grow in value. In 18 years, are you going to be ahead? Of course you are. Because why? That property is going to grow way more than whatever you save in interest, number one. Number two, whatever your negative cash flow is today that you're putting towards a property, that's going to reduce because rents are going to rise, right? So at some point, that property is going to neutralize. You've got your surplus cash flow back. Go and pay off your mortgage if you want to, although I bet you'll probably want to buy another property, right? So either way, if you just look at the numbers, essentially most people who choose to take the extra money and pay off their mortgage versus buying investment property are probably leaving $500,000 to $1 million on the table.
As you've said this, a lot of people, and there's smart people that listen, right?
Of course.
But the concept will go above people's heads because, one, it's intangible.
Yes.
Right? Like we're talking about something fully intangible here,
yes,
which is the equity, the cash flow. It's like, I can't see it.
Yes.
To help listeners, if you have struggled with this concept of, hey, equity, releasing the equity, the repayments, and then the compounding growth on the property that you continue to buy and what it's going to be worth, and then when you can exit the matrix, which is pay off your mortgage, I want you to reach out to us because I've got to give massive kudos to one of our team members, Lauren Chappell in our team, came up with a U-Butte that's a whole calculator.
Awesome.
We plug in all the numbers and you go, right, project it out by probably 8 years.
Yeah. Okay,
gone through that cycle. We use an average compounding for 8 years, 8% each year, which is an average across the country. And then at some point, okay, when do you exit the market?
Yep.
Pay your CGT, pay your agent's fees, assume that that investment loan is interest only, so it hasn't gone down.
Yep.
And then you can pay off your mortgage afterwards. And we generally find 2 properties on a $800K to $1 million mortgage, for example, which a lot of our clients even have more than that. You could do it within a 10-year period if you're locked in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you speak about leaving it too late for a 10-year horizon. What happens if you bought it for a 10-year horizon and you just ate glass for some time to then come out the other side to sip champagne? Like, I'm like, the other side, and you and I will probably go, the grass is greener on the other side.
Yes.
Once you've bought a few investment properties and you get to a point that those properties now are taking care of themselves or they've increased in value, and like, dude, the grass is greener.
It is.
And it's hard to say that because some people need to go on this journey and miss out a little bit and have the fire in their belly. And I'm like, but don't let that become such an expensive mistake.
Yep.
And don't let that detour you too far. That's really hard to come back as well.
Exactly.
But I think the conversation boils down to it's financial alignment.
Yes. Well
because
said.
there's going to be one partner that says, I do not want to invest until our home is paid off, or I don't want this property to cost me a little bit, which I'm going to come back to. Because every dollar we have should be going to our mortgage.
Yeah.
And we're going, that's a redundant strategy.
Yep.
And I would welcome anyone that could disprove that because I think we've proven the model works when you go and buy 2 investment properties and pay off your home loan within a 10 to 18-year window, which has got to be better than a 30-year mortgage.
Absolutely. I always say people, you can't eat your house. Paying off your mortgage earlier is fine, but how are you going to create wealth, right? And so understanding and look, the tool that your team has put together, that'll show you why buying investment properties versus paying off your debt more quickly will actually, here's the thing, by taking on more debt and buying investment properties, you will actually pay off your mortgage more quickly. Not on a day-to-day basis, no, but over a 10-year period, yes, right? You'll get there faster. And that's the key thing is, are you trying to, what vehicle are you on? Are you on something slow that's, which is the pay off your mortgage with just your extra after-tax dollars that you've had to work hard for, pay tax and then do it? Or are you going to get onto the fast car, get a decent asset or 2 and pay off a mortgage more quickly? Which vehicle are you on?
In 10 years' time, let's say the mortgage is paid off at that point. Then you can take the great holidays.
Yep.
Then you can buy the nice new car. Then you can have like some of the trappings of life that you can enjoy because you're mortgage free.
Correct.
And all you did was grind away for 10 years.
Yep.
Man, 10 years isn't a long time out of your life to be debt free.
Yep.
You'd be part of 33% of Australians that are debt free.
Yep.
33% of Australians rent and 33% have a mortgage.
There you go.
You want to talk about escaping the matrix, man. I'm like, I don't know what they call it, freedom formula, whatever you want to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Some swanky message, but I'm buzzing like when I have these conversations because if you're listening, you're part of like this inner sanctum of people that are going, mate, what are the top podcasts like murder, true crime or somewhere? Don't worry about true crime. Just worry about paying off your mortgage.
Correct. Absolutely.
And then just walk around. I call it stealthy wealthy. Just walk around people that are having to go to work and stressed.
Yeah.
And just go, oh man.
Yeah.
Half my debt, even half your debt that went across, that got paid off within a 5 to 8 year period.
Yep.
You just walk. You'll walk taller.
Absolutely. I got one client who's just done that. He's a roofer. So he's not a huge high income, but he got this model. He engaged and went, can we do this? I said, here's the modeling. You're going to need 3 properties in, I think it was 3 years, which you can do based on where you're at. And then 5 years later, you will be able to sell and pay off your mortgage. He's now literally in the process of selling off his properties and he'll be debt free by Christmas of this year.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
This guy is just, he runs a small roofing business. It's not a high-end anything. He does live in Sydney as well. So if it's expensive property we're talking about. The model works.
Right? Mate, you do a case study there.
Yep.
I got 2 clients. I mean, you asked me how long I've been broking for, 10 years. So one of our earliest clients, they bought through a BA 10 years ago.
Yep.
2 properties. They did their job. They sold off. They're debt free.
There you go.
And when I first met them, I'm like, what's the goal? What are you working towards? Like, he was just, I just want a Mustang.
Nice.
And I was like, nice. Exactly that. I said, nice. He's like, man, the last broker laughed at us.
Why?
I was like, why? He said, no, it's never possible. I was like, dude, let's buy a couple of properties and let's make this thing happen.
Yeah.
The bloke's going to buy a Mustang.
There you go.
I'm like, no guilt.
No guilt.
You have no guilt around it because his home's paid off.
There you go.
You know, the family's taken care of. So I'm like, you can have your cake and eat it
You
too.
can.
Yeah.
You can. Absolutely.
Okay. The next question I've got, or rebuttal here is, hey man, on a 90, 100%, 105% loan, these properties do not wash their face. They're going to cost me money.
They are.
So this whole cash flow positive palaver, no, I'm going to drive a truck straight through this thing because now this property's costing me money as well.
Yep, absolutely. Number one, let me kind of really just reinforce this. Here we are in 2026. Positive cash flow property in Australia does not exist.
Thank you.
All right. It is just that simple. I couldn't be any clearer than that. Right. Okay. So don't ring up Aaron and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to, property's going to give me 8%
Every
yield.
conversation I have. Hey man, this property's going to cost us.
Yeah. Yep.
And I just, exactly that. I just go quiet.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you want me to do about that?
Exactly. You see, so the thing is, you got to remember, when there's so much content out there, a lot of the content comes from other countries where the dynamics are different. And yes, it exists in other countries. I get that totally. In Australia,
everyone's going to invest in Dubai.
Yeah, good luck to them. Yeah. But it does not exist in Australia, right? So in Australia, property investing is a capital growth game. That's
Thank you.
Okay, let's be clear.
Appreciate it.
Right?
Yeah.
You are buying an asset for it to rise in value. That is your primary motivation. If you get everything else wrong, but you get that part right, you are 99% ahead. Okay? So therefore, yes, are you going to have more negative cash flow initially? Yes. Short answer, yes. This is what we speak about extra, is that earlier on, is you're not taking that extra money and putting into your mortgage. You're not taking extra money and putting into a car loan, into whatever holidays. You're going to take that money and you're putting it into a property for that property to rise in value. So yes, you are going to pay extra on a month-to-month basis. And people go, but why would I do this? Why wouldn't I, do something else with money? Because you're forgetting that you're buying an asset that's rising in value. Your car doesn't rise in value. Your groceries don't rise in value. Your holidays, great memories, but don't rise in value. Your properties will rise in value. You need to have assets. True wealth comes from having assets. We're talking properties here for sure. Assets. An asset in Australia as an asset is something that rises in value, pure and simple.
Full stop. Thank you. I'm glad you said it, because the amount of times that I get young people. I had one call, the dude was 31. Man, looking for a cash flow property. I was like, that's cute. I said, why? I said, bro, you're 31.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're 31 or 41 or 51. Why the hell are you I said, mate, what are you trying to do? Get $20 a week extra.
Yeah.
I said, go and just work an extra hour worth of work, man.
That's it.
2 hours.
That's it.
I said, you are the cash flow.
Yes.
You, the listener, you are the cash flow. Why are you delegating your job to a property to become the cash flow in the equation? You earn the money. Mate, I say to anyone, you want more cash flow? Get a qualification, get a promotion, add more value, solve more problems. That is your cash flow.
Yep.
You then take that cash flow and you put it into capital growth assets.
Yes.
That does the compounding while you sleep.
Yes. There we go. That's it. That's the game right there.
I don't care if you got to drive Uber for an extra 3 hours a week or something, mate. Whatever you got to do.
Yep.
Get the cash flow.
Yep.
You could find a way to offset that cash flow. Do a PAYG, tax withholding variation, if you absolutely need to stem the rot on cash flow.
Yep.
There are ways to address it. And maybe, again, we're talking about people just don't know. Maybe they just don't know this.
Yeah.
Because everyone's talking about cash flow property, positive cash flow. BS.
Yeah.
So you do the numbers, you go, what's the latest acquisition done? Go for a $650K purchase.
Yep.
What's it getting for rental income?
Let's say $550 a week in rent, for example.
I'm going to do these numbers live here as we go.
There we go.
If we go, we're doing, it's got to be mid 6.5%. It's got to be 6.5% interest, right?
Yeah, about that now.
And let's say it's fully $650K. Let's go a $600K loan even. Divide by 52. How much did you say it's getting for rent?
$550.
So it's going to,
Yep.
The repayments are $750.
Yep.
Plus all your outgoings. I generally keep about $100, $150 outgoings.
Yep.
Okay. So it's got $150. Worst case, 900. Sorry, you said it's 500?
Yes.
So it's $400.
Yep.
Gap.
Okay.
You're over the month.
Yep.
4 and a bit. It's kind of that $2,000 number
Yeah.
that you said before. If you got $2,000 to invest, this is where the game is. These are the numbers. If we just done it literally, we didn't even preempt these numbers.
No.
But the numbers are, you've got to have money
Yeah.
to invest.
Absolutely.
You can't expect this property to be positive from day one. If you're expecting it to be positive from day one, you're in the wrong asset class. You're in the wrong game.
Correct.
Property is going to cost you until rates come down, until rents go up, until you've done a PAYG with varying holding variation, whatever you've done to tweak, or you've found a way to add that $400 gap in, and you'll get the money back come tax time if it's in your individual name as well. But it's a matter of eating glass for a certain time period.
Yes, absolutely. Look, it's all we're talking about here. While it all sounds very good, it's not just a magic bullet. You are going to have to do some work. Let's be clear. There is effort involved here, right? To find that extra money, for some people, they're going to go, okay, I need to go and do an extra shift somewhere or whatever else. Okay, well, what happens if you don't? You're going to sit there and take 30 years to pay off your mortgage, or spend an extra couple of hours a week doing some extra shifts to get the extra money to go and do what you need to do. I know which option I'm taking.
Let me tell you what happens when you become highly valued as an employee, right? If you're salaried. I had a team member. He was working Bunnings. I'm just going to let this play out. See how long he kind of dabbles with this as well. I was like, mate, I just thought he was doing it for giggles. You could earn more money here if you really wanted to. And he started kicking some massive goals in the business.
Okay.
I said, mate, we'll come up for a pay rise. Yeah. He's like, I just want to replace that income from Bunnings. I said, and he wants to go and buy a property. Okay. Show me your numbers. What are you negative by? I said, mate, if you can hit this target, I'll guarantee we'll cover that. We'll cover that gap. We'll get you to that income level. The next day, it's like the bloke was possessed. Bang. Absolutely. Like you could just see him locked into a target.
Yes.
And I think sometimes, again, when we're not even going inside the realms of like where to buy, what to buy, how to buy that. If you're short on cash flow, have a conversation with your boss, your manager, your employer, and go, my goal is to get my income to here. Yeah. What do I need to do? Hey, mate, you need to get this qualification. Hey, mate, you need to hit this target. Hey, mate, you need this. Perfect. Just work backwards from that and go, right, I'm locked in, because what we're trying to say is that property at 650K that we've just had an example, if that does, what do you reckon one of your properties will do in 12 months?
Oh, geez, at least 100 grand.
Jeez.
Right? That's what we're talking.
That's nearly, 20%?
Correct. It's crazy at the moment.
Like 80% growth.
Yeah. I didn't blink at that. That's what is happening right now in some of these areas. People are walking away. I have some clients who are now almost expect it. Like 100 grand, 100 grand. I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do again, right? It gets to that level. And that's the reality. That is the real. And so, see, the flip side is this. If someone doesn't go and buy that 650K property and they decide, I'm going to coast for a year when I could afford it, guess what? You've lost 100 grand, because next year that property's worth 750K.
Well, and then to get in, it's going to be harder. So let's do the math here again. So we said, okay, this property cost you $400 a week out of pocket times 52. It's 20 grand. Yep. That 650K property doesn't do its 80%. Let's say it does 30%. Do the math on that.
You got your calculator? Tell me what we're looking at here.
So 1.3 into 650?
Yep.
It's 845.
There we go.
Less your 650.
Yeah.
It's done 100. It's done well over 100 grand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you've had to spend 20 odd grand. Yep. Out of pocket, like your week on week. So what I'm trying to say is it's cost you $400 for the year. But the growth on that has earned you more than 100 grand.
Exactly.
I'd happily spend 20 grand a year to earn 100 grand.
Correct. And that is the game right there. Is when you realize that what you're paying in negative cash flow, it's like, for example, the way I sort of, if you're buying a property for 650 and imagine you're paying, if you bought it for 670, there's your 20 grand and it goes to 750 by the end of the year, would you take that deal? No one's going to say no to that, right? That's what we're talking about here. You're paying, so imagine you're paying 670 for a property, but on day one you pay 650 and you pay 20 grand in installments for the next 12 months. Your out of pocket is 670. If in 12 months time that property is now worth 750, aren't you ahead? Right? It's once you start thinking about this differently, you start to realize why this makes so much sense.
Look, it makes sense because we sip the Kool-Aid.
True.
If you're then going to send your kids to private school, and you go, I got my kids in a public school for primary. If the goal is to send them to private school, and you go, where are we going to get the money from? Yeah. Go and buy an investment property or two, and then sell them, and then go put your kids through private school.
That's it.
There's just so many ways you can cut the mustard on this, man, to go, the opportunities are there, but you've actually, I'll say, I've been in this drum a lot, the property market rewards action takers and decision makers.
Yes. Yes.
And I've sat on the sidelines. I've sat out of the market.
Yep.
And those are the times that hurt the most.
Yep.
Had a commercial property, took us out of the market.
Ooh. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
As in, like, we owned our own site. So no rental income coming in off the back of that, for example, massive outlay until it flipped. And I was like, okay, now it's starting to make sense to own it.
Yep.
So it's going to be a time where it's like the tide will turn.
Yes.
But you've got to be able to hold through those periods.
Correct.
Because we are not promising you like a rose, like there's rose petals here when you're going through the period. Mate, there'll be tenant issues.
There will be.
Repairs and maintenance.
Yes.
Turnover.
Yes.
Land tax.
Yeah. And people will,
rates going up.
Exactly. Interest rate.
Government talking about CGT. Mate, we keep going.
Oh, government can paint you as a villain, greedy villain. You're an investor. The fact is, though, investing in property is a great way to create wealth. And look, it's what you said, Aaron.
Yeah.
We're talking about paying off your mortgage first, but maybe that's not your goal. Maybe it is, I want to put my kids through a certain school and they're, I don't know, 5 and 3 right now. And by the time they get to, 12 or so, I need to have this kind of money. Where am I going to get it from? Well, investing in quality assets, quality properties will be a great way for you to get there a lot faster than you just working, so much harder in your job because you're not getting the effect of leverage on compounding.
Mate, correct.
Right.
Correct. And you got to think when we're putting our kids through schools, this is after tax.
That's right.
Income.
Exactly.
I see how much some of these schools cost. I'm like, you got to think about this post-tax.
Post-tax. Yep. Absolutely.
And
so
here's the thing: parents find the money for that.
They do.
So don't tell me you can't find the money for investing in property. Like we come back to this conversation.
Correct.
So the argument's circular. Don't tell me you don't have the money.
Yes.
Because here's the money. If you absolutely had to put your kids through private school, or if you absolutely had to have this emergency, or you absolutely had to do this, car repayments.
Correct.
It's non-negotiable. They've got to be made.
Yep.
But investing it's not non-negotiable for some people.
Exactly.
And that's the part where the game is won and lost.
Correct.
The people that look at this going, this is non-negotiable.
That's it. It's
non-negotiable. I will find the money and I'll live off the rest. I'm telling you, if you're going, these people don't understand what I'm going through. I am telling you, ask Bernadette. We have gone through periods where we have hemorrhaged cash, hemorrhaged, red line, up at night, 2 a.m. going, what have we done?
Yeah.
If you think that I lack the emotional intelligence to understand the situational plight that you're in, I'm telling you, I understand firsthand. I understand better than maybe some other people do because we were negative.
Yeah.
And I said, we lock in. We both knew that we're very much aligned. It was like, just eat glass for a while.
Yep.
And it'll come good.
Yep.
And you turn a corner, like we just had to hold on. I call property investing a game of grip strength.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to be able to hold on.
Correct. Absolutely you do because, you're right. I mean, we've been there too, me and my wife, we've done that. You're hemorrhaging cash flow. Yeah, it's a journey, right? But everyone who has gone through it has come out the other end going, wow, look where we are now, right? Every single person who has created wealth through property will tell you, number one, they didn't expect to create as much as they did or as fast as they did because it starts to compound. It's like anything. It's like a curve. It starts off slow and gets faster and faster. And very quickly, you're like, oh, we're buying property number 6, number 7. Hold on, we were going to buy 1 or 2, right? That's what it is. It just changes completely. So, but you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it is always, what's the big difference? Someone who creates wealth versus someone who doesn't? It's simple. It's that first property. The guys who take the effort and do what's required to buy that first investment property, they then realize, hold on, I can now buy a second one. Those who keep letting fear stop them or whatever it is stop them, if you don't get that first property, you're not going to get second, third. It just doesn't happen, right? It's always the first property.
It's always. I talk to any investor, I'm like, I can double your portfolio. I'm like, how? I'm like, because it's already doubled. If you got to 2, you doubled it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Correct.
So if the goal is to get to 8, okay, we break it down. We get to 4.
Yep.
Break 4, you get to 2.
Yep.
2, you get to 1.
Correct.
And then you just work back upstream. You go, right,
Correct.
just get the first one, get it revalued, go into the second deal.
Yep.
Second deal, but then start to work out borrowing capacity.
Yes.
Okay. Now there's a map. There's a blueprint to follow.
Yep.
Get the equity strip when third.
Yep.
Third then becomes 4.
Yep.
Doubled.
Yep.
Double, 1 to 2, 2 to 4.
Correct.
At 4, there's a matter of time before we get to 6 and 8.
Yep. Absolutely.
And at that point, you're probably thinking, man, I don't want 8. Okay, it's cool.
Yeah.
Stay here, paid it down, pay
Yep.
off the mortgage. Now you got a couple of properties. Man, if you held on to 3 or 4 into retirement,
Exactly.
you're doing pretty well.
100%.
We're not saying you need a 10 property portfolio,
No.
super investor. No, don't worry about it. And in fact, sometimes you don't want it because the headache is probably a little bit more, it's like what's the word?
Diminishing returns. Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Absolutely. Look, people often say, hey, I see so-and-so's got 35 properties. I'm like, yeah, good luck. Go and speak to them. I think most people won't need more than 3 to 5 properties, right? With where prices are right now and whatever else, with a portfolio of 3 to 5 properties, most investors will create significant wealth beyond what anything they can imagine. Because if you have 3 properties, 5 properties, you hold on to them for 10 years, what do you think is going to happen to your net wealth position? It's going to explode, right? So that's why I said earlier on, it's all about time in the market. It's what you said about, investing being not negotiable. As I said, for most people, investing is what they do at the end. It's like a feel good. We've done everything else we wanted to do. Now we want to invest. If you flip it, and yes, obviously your mortgage and basic expenses, but then investing has to be an absolute non-negotiable priority, whether you're in the process of buying property, whether you're in the process of planning to buy a property, whatever it is it your not negotiable? It's going to be just that rigid about it. Otherwise it won't happen. Right? And life goes past way too quickly.
Love it. You're probably the same where like when people watch you, you got bloody 22,000 YouTube subscribers. It was 50,000 on TikTok.
That's right.
We go downstairs, a bloke gets recognized here in Sydney. And then people reach out like, oh, hey, Niro, I didn't expect to get you.
I have it all the time. Like, I'm speaking to you. I'm like, hi, I'm the same guy.
It's the same. And I'm not sure how you go, but I bloody love it. I'm like, why would I put you into an appointment setter or like a screen?
Yeah.
I want to have these conversations with you. Correct. If you're listening and you invest the time and the energy, I want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Does scale get hard for you? I mean, you only got so many hours in the day, man. Like that many people watching and actively being part of your, like everything you're putting out. Does that get hard to manage?
It can. Look, and so really it's ultimately about something similar to what we were saying earlier on, quality. Can I actually help people? Can we build a plan together? It really is about quality control. I'm not in a position where I need to get 50 clients a month. I don't have a big overhead from a staff perspective because I've been doing some of the things we've been talking about. I'm in a pretty good position financially. So I want to make sure that every person I come into contact with, I leave them better for it. And that's going to take a certain amount of time. That means you can only serve so many people.
Don't you want to help everyone?
I would love to, but I realize it just can't.
Yeah, I know.
Right? And that's why sometimes the waiting list.
I'm like, I bloody want to help everyone. Give me your loans.
Look, and I think I've just got to a stage where I'm like, because the thing is, like, it's intergenerational wealth, right? Because you help one person, you help the whole string of generations. That's the way I look at it.
Do you know why this is big? Because you can't be what you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times kids go, man, my parents never invested, or they bought a property and it did terrible.
Yep.
Therefore, I don't believe in investing in property. So you actually have this, you pass on to your lineage, good or bad.
Correct. 100%. When my 12-year-old starts talking about, hey, so you help that person buy a property, but they're not living in it. They're providing accommodation for someone, and he's starting to understand. He's 12. He's like, and I want to buy this property, Dad. I'm like, and he's just listening to me have these conversations, right? So the whole thing is, I'm so lucky because I get to have that with my kids. But the fact is, if you're investing in property and then you bring your kids along for the journey, it's just a ball game changer, right? They start thinking about buying property at 18, 19, 20. Whether they can or not, it's different, but they start thinking that way.
Oh, man.
Most people don't start thinking about property until in their 50s, and then I've got 10 years left, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Same with our kids, man. I speak openly about, they obviously come in and see what we do, and they see the team. I was like, anything's possible.
Yep.
And if you can pass it on to your kids, man, you're not only passing a portfolio, you're passing on this mindset that anything is possible, bro.
That's it.
And there's so much power in that.
Yep.
And I just wrap it up and go, you can't be what you can't see.
Yeah.
If you're trying to say to your kids, hey, man, it's like trying to say, hey, don't be on screens, and you're on screens. It's like, don't eat junk, but you eat junk.
Yeah.
Hey, man, be good with your money, but you're not good with your money. Like, you can't not walk the walk and talk the talk as a parent. This thing catches you out.
It does.
All the time. And they will call you out as well. And now that my kids can actually talk and observe, and I got a different phase of accountability, bro. But I think that's what lights me up is to go, hey, man, if I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And they're watching, observing, and seeing and it's like, in their DNA is like just this generational winners.
Yeah, absolutely. It is so important because, and I keep saying, I am so lucky. For me, people say, hey, Niro, what does motivate you? And I'll just show you my photos of my kids. Right? I'm a father first and foremost. Okay, business for me, I love it. It comes second. It is just so clear for me. So therefore, everything I do is about helping them, inspiring them. And if I can go out there and make a difference to others and help them create wealth and protect their families, and my kids see me do that, it's an example that, I have to believe is going to hold them in good stead for the future.
Do you worry about raising kids with like this privilege that maybe you didn't have, or?
I don't think so. And it's purely because like the kids see dad works hard, mum works hard, right? It's not like we're sitting there and there's nothing there. We work hard as a family, as a couple. Dad is going to leave you and go on a Saturday afternoon to do some stuff, or mum's got to go somewhere. And so they see us working hard, right? And so while, we're not short on money, I get that. And, the kids can have whatever they want. They understand that there's a price, right? And I think that's why I think both my kids, I'm very lucky at the moment, they're very disciplined. Because they see, dad's working hard, mum's working hard. That's just the norm, right? So I think it's, yes, there's privileges and finances and all that, but they don't see us struggle, no, but they see us work hard. They see that discipline there, and they understand that discipline is what it's going to take, whether you're going to invest successfully, be successful as a person in your career, whatever it is, you've got to be disciplined. And if we can get that value to them, I think everything else I'm hoping will take care of itself.
Fantastic, man. All right. Rapid fire round.
Let's do this.
All right, let's lock in. So quick answers, what we're looking for. What do you see coming in the next property cycle?
Significant growth.
What kills borrowing capacity the fastest?
Buying liabilities.
What are some red flags that scream to you, don't buy?
Too many investors or too much supply.
The biggest risk people underestimate?
The loss of time.
Deal breakers?
Due diligence falling over or paying too much.
If someone listening wants their mortgage gone in 10 years, the smartest first move that they can make?
Look to see what their borrowing capacity is to buy another investment property.
Dude, I love it. I love it. And I'm going to tell you, bro, this has been really enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Obviously, it helps that you're bloody some YouTube phenomenon, right? And this stuff just rolls off your tongue. But to me, I think when we do different things.
Yeah,
but I think there's really like that alignment going.
There is, for sure.
We're trying to play a bigger game.
Yeah.
We want people to play a bigger game.
Yeah.
We just want the best for people. Yes, we get rewarded financially for it, but you're not resting on your laurels.
No.
Right? It's like, hey, man, I'm not sitting still, not putting my feet up and having a bloody Corona on a beach, man. That'd be boring as hell, I think, for you and I. But
exactly.
Just to go in a sea of like a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
And again, there's no pot shots because, we don't throw stones, we live in glass houses. But
Exactly.
just to go, and it's not about pick me. It's just going, hey, pick someone and take some action.
Absolutely. Go with, and I'm very upfront with people. I'm not for everyone. I get it, right? Like yourself.
So who are you for then, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, I'm looking for someone who wants to lower risk, who wants to play the longer game and create wealth for their families. I'm not the guy who's going to say, buy this property, it's going to double in value in 12 months, right? Buy this value, you're going to make this chunk of change. I'm not about get rich quick at all. I'm all about get rich safe. Like I said, I'm all about protecting families. That's really what it is for me, because it's what lights me up inside when I'm helping my family and building wealth for them, and it's what I want to do for others, right? So that's really where I'm at. So even when it's I get young people who are in the early 20s, mid 20s, starting their investing journey. The people who I'm for, I want to do this by the time I'm 40, not by the time I'm 25. Right? I want to get to the end of the journey. So they have the understanding that this is going to take time. So the fastest way to get there is to start as soon as you can and get the right help. That's it.
And then when you started your journey, was it very intentional that getting here would be it was non-negotiable, or where you are at the moment, does that exceed what you thought was possible?
Oh yeah, it would. It has blown my mind what I've achieved.
Yeah, wow.
Right? I would not, if you'd asked me this even 3 years ago, 5 years ago, hey, Niro, what do you envisage? This is far exceeded in terms of not just business, but my portfolio, my family, and everything else, right? And so I understand what's possible with the right plan, the right discipline, the right guidance, right? And that's really, I can't provide you the discipline. That's for you as an individual, but I can help you with the plan. I can help you with the guidance, right? And that's what I'm all about.
You're a legend, man.
Thank you, and you.
I want to say thank you so much. Like I said, been a real pleasure to have you here.
Likewise.
Love your energy. I love what you stand for, man. And
if
that's what you're putting out there, no wonder you're getting a lot back.
Thank you.
In return, I think the universe is always like a lot of people out there is like take. And I think when you have this attitude of just give, the universe just returns serve, man.
Absolutely.
And it might sound woo-woo, but Bernadette's got me all on the woo-woo, buddy. We're looking at like where the stars are in the sky this week, with our Sky app and stuff. But I'm really just riding the wave of woo-woo,
Good on you.
And I see it, man. I see it.
Awesome, man.
So, bro, I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Listeners, if you've loved it, we'll include details to your socials and everything. People can plug in to see what you're doing, man. I guarantee we'll have you back at some point to kind of do part 2 of this, like the nuts and bolts of like how to be debt free. If this episode has hit a chord with you, struck a chord, mate, share with your partner. We say this journey is so much better when we have both people that are involved on the journey together, and that's where that financial alignment will happen. Hey, listeners, thanks very much for tuning in. Talk to you next time. If this episode has got you thinking about taking the next step and building a property portfolio, we'd love to have a chat, and you can book in a strategy session call with our team. Check out atelierwealth.com.au. Thanks very much for listening to our podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, or follow on whatever platform you're listening to as well, so this episode comes straight to you. We release a new episode every Monday morning at 7. We'll talk to you soon.